Okay, we begin at 4 with a Fox 10 News alert. Multiple people brought out of immigration court in handcuffs by ICE officers this afternoon.
Yeah, it was a chaotic scene with demonstrators shouting, pushing, and shoving outside the court. It all unfolded just about an hour and a half ago. Fox 10 Steve Nielsen is live outside the courthouse in downtown Phoenix. Steve, what can you tell us about what happened today?
Well, it was interesting just to watch the process here of how ICE was operating and how the protesters were responding. ICE agents, they were camped out inside of this parking structure on the other side of the building. Now, just across that parking structure on the other side of the parking lot here, ICE agents would go inside, they would detain people, and then bring them out to the front as protesters surrounded them. When agents would emerge from that building, protesters would shout a lot of things, including "No more ICE, no more ICE," many other things. It got really tense at times as they would surround an unmarked van that masked ICE agents would be bringing these detained people to. It led to pushing and shoving on both sides at different points. This repeated itself a second time as well as ICE agents went back up to detain more people. This all started yesterday with what appears to be a change in legal strategy by prosecutors here, by the administration. ICE has not commented, but an immigration attorney told us that the feds are dismissing all of the pending cases, and by doing that, they have nothing in front of the court. So agents believe they have the authority then to go in and detain them as those people exit the courtroom.
They were here doing what they're supposed to do at immigration court and were arrested by ICE.
Unfortunately, as soon as he stepped out of the waiting room area of the court, right where the elevators are, there were several federal agents waiting to talk to him, and they detained him right away.
Now, interesting here, we've reached out to ICE. We've also reached out to Arizona House Republicans to see if they have any comment on what's going on here. We haven't heard back from any of them today, as this has been a pretty chaotic scene out here. Court did wrap up, though, about an hour and a half ago, and when that happened, the ICE agents left, and it's gotten much quieter. Just a few protesters still standing around, but nothing more than that at this point. This is not the only place in the country where this has been happening. This has happened at other courtrooms across the country as well today. Reporting live, Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
Steve, can we hang on for a second here? Do we know whether these people will in fact be deported, or are they being held somewhere?
I'd love to have that information. We have reached out to ICE. We've been asking these questions. We haven't heard back on what's happening. It was interesting to talk to that immigration attorney, Ortega. He represents a client who was trying to seek asylum from Venezuela. He went through the process as he's legally supposed to, according to the attorney, and had this case pending. When they took him in today, he told his client, don't answer any questions you don't think you need to, and don't sign anything, because he was afraid that his client would be handed something where he would be allowing himself to be sent somewhere else or to be deported. So it's not clear where exactly they've all been taken or what's happening at this point.
Yeah, and Steve, too, I think the fear, I guess, within the migrant community is that if this is happening when you're showing up at immigration court, do you show up? And then if you don't show up, then you certainly could be deported.
Well, exactly. It's a double-edged sword there. That's why it's an interesting legal strategy shift here that we have seen from the feds. I heard multiple people make that point to me today, is that this just creates a new situation where people are going to stop. The people that are following this process, they believe in the legal way that they are required to and supposed to, doing it the right way, are now going to stop showing up to court. But again, if you don't show up to court, though, you can also get deported for that reason as well. So a lot going on here to parse out.
Steve, one more thing before we let you go. This is a fascinating story. Do we have any information on whether the people taken today have criminal backgrounds beyond immigration violations?
I can tell you only about the one person specifically that Ortega was representing, his person from Venezuela. He told me that he was fleeing from a very bad situation in Venezuela and does not have a criminal history. That is what he told me today.
Okay. Steve Nielsen tonight. Steve, thanks.
And I will say, too, he also stressed this is not illegal immigration. That was what he was stressing to me. This is someone who came to the border, asked what to do, went through the CB app, did all of those things he was supposed to do. Not illegal immigration.
No, that's true, but we do know a lot of these asylum claims are phony. I mean, it's just a fact.
Absolutely. No, and that's very true as well. There's a process for that to figure that out. It looks like this is sort of a workaround, though, to get out of that.
Interesting. Okay. Steve, thanks.
Yeah.
Steve, thank you.
Protesters and ICE agents get into a confrontation in Phoenix today, and it got very heated.
Yeah, pushing and shoving happened while ICE agents tried to drive away with some people that they detained. Our Steve Nielsen is live in downtown Phoenix with an explanation for what happened. Steve.
Yeah, guys, this got pretty tense at points. Basically, what was happening was ICE agents were standing by up here in the parking lot. Other ICE agents inside of the courthouse. The ICE agents in the parking structure, they would come down, help those ICE agents take people from the courtroom that they had detained and take them away. This is all because of what appears to be a shift in legal strategy by the feds, but ICE isn't talking. As the ICE agents emerged from court in downtown Phoenix, they had 2 people in custody. Immediately, they were swarmed by protesters. At times, there was pushing and shoving on both sides. Some tried to block the van from leaving. Protesters saying what's happening isn't right.
They think that we're scared of them. They think that we're going to just run off and be scared, but we're not. We're protecting each other. That's what a community does.
It's tragic because people who are doing what they're supposed to be doing, getting arrested, means that people aren't going to come to court. They're not going to do what they need to do and just give ICE more of a reason to arrest people.
Immigration attorney Isaac Ortega says before these scenes, he was representing a client from Venezuela seeking asylum. He says unexpectedly, the case, along with many others, was dropped by prosecutors.
Feels like it's a little sneaky because when you dismiss it and now the person doesn't have any kind of case pending at that moment, then for them to sweep in and say, well, because you don't have something pending, we're going to detain you and take you away. So legally, are they able to do it? Yeah, I think so, but it doesn't feel right. And these individuals, they just want a chance to be able to be heard.
Ortega said he told his client to just ask for his attorney and not sign anything. AZ House Democrats called this government-sponsored trauma. We reached out to Arizona Republicans, but didn't hear back. Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.